Hey everyone, this is Tito, and welcome to another Kerbal Space Program tutorial. This one's going to be about orbital rendezvous and rescuing stranded Kerbal. So right now we have a Kerbal who doesn't have an engine or any fuel to get back home, and he's stranded on an inclined orbit going around Kerbin. We're going to go ahead and bring him home. So we're going to swap out our ship here, jump back to the launch pad, and we're going to launch our rescue ship. Now, if he was in a horizontal orbit, in a perfectly level orbit, he would be very easy to go and get. But since he's on an inclined orbit, we need to make sure we are launching at the correct time to go get him. So the easiest way to do this is zoom way out until you can see the orbit of the moon. So we got the moon here. Go ahead and make that a straight line. We'll first double click on Kerbin, so that it's centered on your map. Then go ahead and make the moon a straight line, the moon's orbit. So there we have a straight line on the moon. The camera can be a little fidgety. And next we want to do is we want to get his orbit to also become one single line. So we're going to rotate our camera left and right until that happens. So now we have an intersect point. It's showing us basically a crosshair of where we want to be when we launch. So currently we're over here. We want to be right at the center of this. So we're going to time warp ahead until that happens. Now if we launch from this position right here, and we launch the same direction he's going, so he's going counterclockwise, that's the direction we're going to be going. We're going to want to launch slightly south as well as east. See how he's going like this, so as he comes around, he's going to be going southeast in reference to the planet. We want to follow that same orbit. So let's go ahead and get that done with our launch. So SAS on, we're going to throttle up the fuel. I'm going to go ahead and watch the fuel in this fuel tank because I've built a asparagus staged rocket but did not put 5 engines on. It was just overkill for the amount of lift I needed. And we're going to go ahead and perform our gravity burn, or our gravity turn, but we're not going to be going directly east. We're going to be going about 20 degrees to the south of pure east. So let's go ahead and start that gravity turn. Flip my camera around here. I like looking at it from this way. And like with any gravity turn, you still want to get to the 45-degree mark at about 15 to 20,000 meters. If you're any earlier than that, it just means that you're coming in a little too shallow and you may have trouble actually making it to orbit. If you're any later than that, it just means it's slightly less efficient as you're starting to burn too much fuel in the atmosphere. We're going to slow down a little bit. We got some effects going on telling me that I'm moving too fast. I do have a mod that allows me to look at my apoapsis height as well as time to apoapsis. This is part of the Kerbal Engineer Redux mod. I highly recommend it. Otherwise, you can just pop into the map screen and check that as you go, just like you normally would. Alright, so we've lost another stage here. Let's just go ahead and pop that off. Get back up to full throttle. We're high enough in the atmosphere to where we're not going to see many atmospheric effects if we're going full throttle. Generally, 900 meters per second is your limit until you get to about 35,000 meters. But we should be fine. So we're just going to go ahead and bring this up so we can get a nice easy orbit, about 75,000 meters for an apoapsis. If you hear a cat in the background, I do apologize. We're just watching that apoapsis climb. Once it gets to 75,000, I'll go ahead and cut the engine and then we'll circularize. We're getting there. We're about 70,000 right now. Let's go ahead and flatten it out a little bit. Looks like we're pretty on target. We'll go ahead and set him as our target. Yeah, we're 0.9 degrees off, so pretty darn good. So we'll go ahead and set a maneuver at our apoapsis to circularize. Now, this might not be the most efficient way to do a orbital rendezvous, but it's just what I have learned and how I do it. It's a little bit easier than waiting for the correct time to burn to intercept immediately. If I was running any sort of mods and he was out of life support and I needed to get to him very quickly, or if he wasn't a Kerbal Knot, if he was an asteroid, yeah, I would probably try to time my launch to where I can get to him as quickly as possible. But really, we have all the time in the world to go ahead and do this, so let's just do it the easy way. So let's go ahead and circularize here. And once we've circularized, then we can talk about how we're actually going to perform this rendezvous. So that wraps up the first part of this tutorial. In the next part of the tutorial, we're going to actually set up our maneuver to encounter our stranded Kerbal Knot. We're going to talk about what to do when we get there and how to get them on board and get them home. All right. Once again, this has been Tito, and I will see you next time.